Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
So today is Cinco de Mayo. So
We we're not able to do a celebration how we used to do it, but we're gonna put a little segment of Cinco de Mayo, and we're gonna give you a brief information about it.
yeah.
And
So
yeah,
let's watch the next 3 minutes of this video for Cinco de Mayo, and hope you guys enjoy it.
Cinco de Mayo, on 5th of May, is a commemoration of the victory of an outnumbered army of Mexicans over the French forces at the Battle of Puebla that took place May 5th, 1862. The triumph of the Mexicans proved to the world that their will to defend their nation's sovereignty will prevail against a powerful foreign invader. It is often mistaken as Mexico's Independence Day, which, on the other hand, is celebrated every 16th of September. Though Cinco de Mayo has become a relatively minor event in Mexico today, the United States of America significantly celebrates it by highlighting the Mexican-American culture. Its significance to world history is more than about having a day dedicated to feasting on Mexican food, getting margarita happy, and wearing loud sombreros. So, to give you a better understanding of what Cinco de Mayo is all about, let's take you back to where
Hi,
and
Gerard. Good
how it
morning.
all
good
began.
morning, Jory.
The American Civil War, experienced by the Latinos. The early 1860s became witness. To the time, Mexico had become greatly indebted to France, Britain, and Spain as a result of the Mexican-American War and Reform War.
All right. So this is what's happening. Mexico owed a lot of money to France, England, and Spain. So France, England, and Spain are they want Mexico to pay up. Is there anyone
Mm-mm. Let me go on.
there? 1 second. So Mexico owes money to Spain, they owe money to England, and they owe money to France.
How are you?
So that's what's going on right now.
Hector send you the information?
Let's continue.
He sent you a text message. You just press on the text message.
Mexican President Benito Juárez suspended the payment of Mexico's foreign debts for 2 years, and only France turned down the notion of a negotiation.
So this is what happened. The president of Mexico back then told the three countries that they owed money to, like they were like, hey, you know what? We can't pay for 2 years. So is that cool? And guess what happened?
Napoleon III, then ruler of France, saw this as an opportunity to
Morning,
build
Corey.
his second Mexican empire in Mexico, with France reaping the benefits.
So since Mexico negotiated with all three of them, and France was the only one that said, no, we don't want you to pay us 2 years later. We want you to pay us now.
During the later part
Sorry,
of
you guys.
1861, France's fleet attacked Veracruz and halted Juárez and his government. In May 1862, the French force led by General Charles de Lorentz attacked Mexico City, but were resisted by General Ignacio Zaragoza's strong-willed Mexican troops near Puebla de Los Angeles. 2,000 poorly equipped Mexican fighters stood against the 6,000 well-armed Frenchmen, known as the world's premier army.
Right. So what happened then? After Mexico told three countries like, "Hey, can we pay in 2 years?" and the three countries were, two of the countries said yes, but France said no. So France attacked Mexico, and France had 6,000 soldiers with guns, and they had all geared up. They had everything. And Mexico had their farmers and had 2,000 farmers to stand up against 6,000 army men.
Nearly 500 French soldiers and fewer than 100 Mexicans had been killed in the battle that went on from dawn till dusk. Sensing the obvious defeat, the French forced retreat.
So when France
Mexico's
attacked,
determination, unity,
they
and
lost to
patriotism
Mexico.
won over France's brutal force. A much-needed morale boost not only to the Mexican army but to Mexico as a nation. There's so much to tell about what took place in Puebla, but what needs to be remembered has probably been forgotten by most of those who should be passing the story on. Mexico may have lost battles after that great victory, but Cinco de Mayo will always be a reminder to everyone that a grain of hope, no matter how small and insignificant to others, can make the impossible possible. Now that you know what you need to know, enjoy the Mexican feast.
So that's what Cinco de Mayo is.
Down that shot of tequila.
France attacked
and wear
Mexico
that
after
Mexican
Mexico
sombrero
asked
loud
for
and
them to pay
proud,
after for 2 years.
because it is a
And
happy
France said
Cinco
no,
de
attacked
Mayo.
Mexico with 6,000 soldiers, and Mexico fought back with 2,000 soldiers and won. So they had they had a bigger army and still lost. And we're off to the section of the workout. So Gerardo, you better do this workout with us, because I don't want to do it, and you're gonna do it with me. Estoy bien. So come on, Gerardo, you better get up and do this with us.
I'm gonna try.
So I'm gonna try and do the full workout. Esme's gonna do the modified version. So if it's a little bit hard, do what Esme is doing. But I'm not trying to do it. So you guys better do it with me, because today is Cinco de Mayo, and I'm trying to eat some tacos and
Celebrate the Cinco de Mayo.
celebrate.
Keep strong, like.
All right, so Stefan, hopefully you can see us if you're on here.
Hi, Stefan. Hi, Corey.
All right, come on, guys.
What's up, everybody? This workout's gonna get your heart and lungs pumping. It's a little intense, but I know you can do it. Let's move.
Oh, it's jumping jacks.
Come on, jumping jacks.
But if you're not able to do the jumping jacks, you can do like this.
Don't forget to breathe. Keep it moving. Keep your arms swinging.
All right, we're going to elliptical. Here we go.
Get your legs moving. Come on. Keep it moving. Come on. Keep it moving. Don't give up. You got this. You can do it.
So if you start getting tired, take a little break. But I'm gonna try to keep going. Let's see. Oh, it's back.
Switch legs.
Legs high up. Legs high up.
Switch legs.
Come on.
Elliptical.
Get the legs moving. Come on. That's it. That's it. Come on. Come on. Own it. Own it. Keep going.
You did it. Let's take a few deep breaths to cool down.
You better have done that with me, Gerardo.
In, and
Because I'm tired.
again, breathe in and out. One more time. In and out. Nice. Have an awesome day.
Whew.
Fresh start, out.
So, you guys better go get some water. Because that was an intense workout. I'm tired. My legs hurt. It just reminds me that every day I should be working out. Every day we should all go for a walk outside. I know right now it's a little hard, but if we want to stay healthy, if you don't want to be like me, really tired. I'm gonna do some breathing exercises because I'm still tired. I don't know about you guys, but I'm still tired. So you breathe in and you breathe out. All right, a little bit better. I'm gonna do a little bit of stretches because my legs, I was sitting down before that and I just got up and started jumping up and down. So I'm gonna do a little bit of stretches so you guys can do it with me. Okay, I'm feeling a lot better. So, alright, so let's get on to the next section of this video, which is hygiene.
Want more stuff like this? We got it. Go to gonoodle.com.
Hand washing steps. We're never going to stop about.
Washing hands is very important, not only right now, all the time, but we're doing this more often because we really need to get the habit of washing hands.
Yeah, so we're always going to be putting these videos so all of us can see how washing your hands in the proper way. Yeah, the
appropriate way to wash your hands. And we keep repeating videos, different type of videos, but with the same concept, so we could be able to just by looking at the videos often and see all the steps, we could like be able to memorize and wash your hands appropriately.
Yep. So as you can see, what she's doing is she's grabbing the soap and putting it all over her hands. And don't forget the fingertips. That's a lot of people forget the tips. So when you dry your hands, use the same paper towel to turn off the water, so you don't have to touch it again. So that was one of the ways you can. That's the most proper way because this one is from the World Health Organization. And this next segment is a little bit about self-esteem. It shows it's a short video of how one sees themselves in the mirror. So let's watch it.
I like being you. So
I know, I'm trying to relax, Joy. I'm still tired.
to me, you are perfectly perfect. I blushed. Me? Yes, you. And by the way, you have wonderful eyes. I blinked, astonished. I do? Absolutely. They sparkle like stars on the darkest of nights. I gazed downward. Thank you. Your eyes sparkle too. Sweet of you to say. You have a marvelous voice. I gently whispered, You really think so? Of course. You sound as joyous as a songbird, whistling in the trees. And you have a magnificent smile. I sheepishly grinned. Well, Mama always says, start every day with a smile. I agree. Your smile is as bright and cheerful as the sun in the sky, and you are quite smart. I took a step towards the mirror. I do try very hard. You sure do. You're as brilliant as a rocket scientist. I like that you are friendly. I leaned in closer. It's very important to be nice, you know. It sure is. You're as peaceful as a butterfly, and you have a lot of courage. I raised my head high. I auditioned for the school play today. Outstanding. You're as brave as a lion. You're a fantastic dancer. I spread my arms wide. Watch how fast I can twirl. Around and around I went. Amazing. You're as graceful as a dolphin gliding through the sea. I plopped on the ground, giggling as the room playfully spun around. And you have a terrific laugh. Thank you very much. Your chuckle fills the air with bubbly
So
joy.
all it's saying is that
Most
when
of
you
all,
sometimes
I
we
like
look
you.
in the mirror and we don't like what we
Kindness is
see,
as beautiful as
but that's
rain.
okay. A lot of people go through
I
that,
stood up and walked
but you just
towards
have
the
to
mirror.
remember that.
To me,
You
Um,
just gotta love
you are
yourself.
perfectly
Yeah.
perfect.
No matter how
I
the
gently
day
pressed my
is, no
hands
matter
against the
how
glass.
other people call you, or no matter anything, you gotta love yourself and you
I
gotta
like
love the
being
way
you.
you look.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do it yourself,
We
nobody
smiled
else
in
will.
unison. I
So
like
you gotta,
being you too.
for sure, like when you
I
look
want
at
to
the
be you
mirror,
forever.
say to yourself that you love yourself and you're beautiful and everything,
Because you are, and everyone sees that, even if you don't. There's another segment of self-esteem
Self-esteem is important because it
and
heavily
what it is.
influences your choices and decisions. Let's start with taking a look at what self-esteem is. Self-esteem is how you feel or think about yourself. What does low or poor self-esteem look like? It is when a person is self-critical or doesn't feel good about their appearance, their abilities, or their intelligence. Where does our self-esteem come from? You're not
I need a
born with
haircut, guys.
self-esteem. Instead, self-esteem is developed from your experiences and influences. Negative experiences and influences often build low self-esteem. On the other hand, when a person has positive influences and experiences in their life, this helps foster a positive self-esteem.
So someone with low
Who
self-esteem is always
typically
telling
has a big
themselves that
impact
they're
on their
not beautiful,
self-esteem?
that they don't like themselves.
Typically those people that are
Um,
close to us.
and something you
Parents,
can do
family,
to improve that
friends,
is you
coaches,
can
and
talk to your parents and
classmates.
your family, your teachers, your
However, it's
coaches, your classmates.
ourselves that can
Um,
have the biggest impact.
and people with high self-esteem, they
Can
see
we
themselves in the
change
mirror
and
as someone
improve
bigger,
our
someone
self-esteem?
stronger. They go
Yes.
past the mirror.
We
They're
are
like, yeah, I
all
look pretty good.
capable of doing
That's
so.
good self-esteem.
How can you boost your self-esteem?
And how
There's
you
a
can make
number
your
of
self-esteem
tips,
go up.
if you follow, can be extremely helpful in boosting your self-esteem. The first tip is you need to learn to be your best friend.
Yeah, you have to
What
be.
this means
You have to love
is
yourself.
you need to take care of yourself. You need
You
to
have to take care of
respect
yourself. Wake up
And
every
you
morning,
need to
brush
be
your
honest
teeth,
with
do your
yourself.
hair.
The second tip, be selective with your friends.
Yeah, and the
Choose the
second
right
tip is
people
hang
to
out with
spend
the
your
correct
time
people.
with.
Don't hang out with people that are
Find
gonna
and
tell
spend
you that you're
time
bad
with those
or
people who are
that'll
teach you
positive
bad
and
habits.
or
encouraging.
bully you.
Ignore those people that put you
Yeah, and if
down
someone tells you that,
and
oh,
stay
you're not
away
cute or
from those
you're not
people
good looking
that
or you're
treat you
ugly,
badly.
just ignore them.
Tip number 3, make sure you spend time doing things that you are good at
So
and
spend
that you
time
enjoy.
doing the things that you like.
Go
Like
discover your
if you like
talents.
drawing, just spend time drawing. That's what you
Let's
like.
take a look at tip
Listen to
4.
music,
It's
Listen to
important
music.
to stop and remind yourself of your abilities and the achievements that you have made.
You have to tell yourself you are
Self-boasting
awesome.
and taking pride in your accomplishments or abilities can be healthy. And when you feel that your self-esteem is low, it's a good way to give yourself a boost. For the last tip, be true to yourself and do the right thing. What this means
So
is
stand up for yourself,
standing up for
stand
yourself,
up for your beliefs.
standing up for your beliefs. In the
You don't have
end,
to be
it
rude,
means doing
No,
the
don't
right
be rude.
but
thing,
just fight for
even
Just be
yourself.
firm.
others
So
are
if someone
not.
tells you
It has
you're
been
doing something
said
wrong,
that
if you
self-esteem
believe it's
is
right,
like a bucket
stand
of
up for
water.
yourself, saying no,
We're
I'm
all
doing it the
born
correct
with a
way.
full
But
bucket.
don't be rude.
Negative experiences, influences, actions, and thoughts puts holes in our bucket and lowers our self-esteem. On the other hand, if you want to fill your bucket with self-esteem, you need to seek out positive
Positive
influences
influence
and
and positive
experiences
experiences.
and believe in yourself.
And you have to believe in yourself.
Sometimes it's hard to believe in ourselves, but we gotta try our best to do that.
Yeah, because if you don't, then other people won't either. So it starts with you. And the next segment is about a little bit about employment training.
Education and training are key determinants of success in the labor market. Not surprisingly, skills training is the most commonly used program to improve employability and smoothen young people's transition into employment. Effective skills training programs provide young people with the skills employers are looking for. They combine in-classroom and workplace learning.
So some of the skills you can get is going to school or coming to programs like these where we help you learn skills in volunteering or crossing the street or being safety awareness.
And recognize the importance of a meaningful
When you're going to
exposure to
volunteer,
the
you're
world of
gaining
work.
employment skills.
Effective skills training programs also offer a diverse skill set, from vocational.
So you have to be punctual, dependable, motivated, cooperative. That means to get along with each other. Communicative is if something's wrong and you see it's something wrong, you talk about it. You have to be critical thinker. So, like an example is if we go to the volunteer site with the boats and you know that the sandpaper is not the correct one, you have to let us know like, hey, this is the wrong one, because we use different type of
You got the
sandpaper.
wrong one.
Yeah, you have to tell us we got the wrong one.
And technical to soft skills, such as the ability to listen and communicate effectively, think creatively, and solve problems independently. Skills training programs are often combined with other active labor programs, such as employment services. Social dialogue and private sector participation in curricula and training development can help ensure that the content and the provision of training are relevant and meet the needs of the labor market. Evidence from evaluations shows that young people participating in these programs are more likely to become employed and earn higher incomes.
And that's what we do here. We try to teach everyone employment skills, even while we're learning with you. So we go to a lot of volunteer sites with you guys to help you learn employment skills.
These impact.
Yeah, so when you come into the program, you come into a training place.
Yeah, so
You could get
you're learning how to do stuff. You're learning things that'll help you be more independent.
Are particularly visible in the long run, showing the ability of skills training programs to increase human capital. To learn more about how skills training helps young people across the globe, explore the...
And this last segment is about space, and this one is about the moon. So we're going to learn a little bit about the moon today. It's going to be a lot of information, but it's useful information. So if you've ever wondered, if you've ever looked up at the night and you saw the moon and you think to yourself, like, where did the moon come from? Why is it there? This will give you a little bit of an understanding of why that is.
Hey Squeaks, what you looking at? Oh, the moon! That's one of my favorite things to look at in the night sky. It's so big and bright,
And it's not
you
made
can
out of
see tons
cheese,
of
so-
craters, those dips on the
Yeah.
surface.
I know a lot of
Do you
people
know
think
that the Earth and
when
the
I was a
moon
kid,
are
I thought it was
about the
made out of
same
cheese, but it's
age?
not made out of
They're
cheese.
4.5 billion years old. Earth's moon is pretty cool, but it's not the only moon in our solar system. I kind of like Earth's moon the best, but have you ever wondered where it came from? Lots of scientists have wondered about that too, and they think it had to do with a huge crash. Since the Earth and the moon are around the same age, That means they both formed around the same time. But Earth is a tiny bit older, so it formed first, and then we got our moon. Astronomers, scientists who study things in space, have a few different ideas about how exactly the moon came to be. And after a lot of research to learn more about the moon, here's what they think happened. Around the same time the Earth was forming, when our solar system was very new, a planet about the size of Mars crashed into the Earth.
All right, so I'm gonna explain that a little bit. That's what science thinks happened. So when the Earth was forming billions of years ago, another planet the size of Mars crashed into Earth, and they formed together, and they started spinning, and the little parts that flew off joined together. So Earth became one whole big thing, and the moon became a little thing. But it crashed with another planet.
That enormous rock, which astronomers sometimes call Theia, collided with the Earth. It would have made a huge impact, way bigger than any meteor crater. This crash was so powerful that rocks and other pieces of the Earth were launched up into space. Eventually, these rocks began to stick together and form what we know as the moon. What's that, Squeaks?
And that's what happens over time. Gravity
Squeaks wants to know
pulls
if
things
the animals
together.
and plants
So
on Earth were okay
had
after the
a bigger
impact.
mass,
And that's a
but it
great
wasn't Earth,
question.
it was,
Well, there actually
debris,
weren't
so it was
any
like,
animals or plants
rocks,
on Earth
and
yet.
they
At
pulled
the time
together.
the moon was forming, the Earth was very new, and it didn't look at all like the Earth we live on today. Back then, Earth was rocky and full of active volcanoes. It didn't have any liquid water, plants, animals, or robots. So there was nothing around to get hurt by the crash, just a lot of broken rocks. After the moon formed, it also started to orbit or go around the Earth, like how the Earth goes around the sun. People on Earth have always been fascinated by the
Little
moon,
by little,
and
the moon
scientists have been
is
studying it
moving
for a
away from
long
Earth.
time.
So
We've
in a
learned
couple,
a lot by sending
million years, it'll
spaceships
be
to the
further
moon,
away.
and when astronauts
And we won't
visited,
get,
they
solar
even
eclipses
collected some
anymore.
rocks and brought them back to Earth to be studied. One really cool thing astronomers have learned by studying them is that some rocks on the moon are a lot like rocks on Earth. And that's exactly what you would expect if a lot of the moon is made up of the Earth rocks that got launched into space when Theia crashed into us. We still aren't completely sure that the moon formed from a huge crash, but it's our best guess based on everything we know about Earth and the moon. Since we can't go back in time to see if a collision formed the moon, as awesome as that sounds, studying Earth and moon rocks is the best way for us to figure out what happened. So Earth and the moon have some things in common, but the moon is still a very different place from our planet. For one thing, the moon is much smaller than Earth, and it doesn't have air you can breathe, or oceans. And it's covered in craters. Those come from tons of giant asteroids hitting the moon billions of years ago. Today, the moon is over 400,000 kilometers away from the Earth. That's a very long trip. It's about the same as going all the way around the Earth 10 times. So the next time you see the moon in the sky, you'll have an idea of how it got there. Thanks for joining us. If you want to keep learning and having fun with Squeaks and me, hit the subscribe.
So that's basically what scientists think what the moon is it was a planet the size of Mars that crashed with Earth billions of years ago, and it broke off into little pieces, and then the moon started revolving around the Earth, and they formed into a little moon. And that's why when they brought rocks from the moon, astronauts, a lot of the rocks are the same from Earth, so it's a little bit part of Earth, and that's why the moon has a bunch of craters on them, because billions of years ago, asteroids hit them. So you can't breathe in the moon. You can't. The gravity is not that strong because it's a smaller area. So gravity is not that strong. And as far as I know, I think the U.S. is trying to go back to the moon. And one of the reasons that is because to get to Mars, we need a space station. And I think they're trying to build a space station on the moon. Because it makes more sense. But that is it for today for Cinco de Mayo, and thank you guys for joining us.
What I do want to say is like all this information might be too much for you.
Yeah.
At the same time, you could always go back to the YouTube channel and you could see the videos. This is a really nice stuff about the science. I know nothing about that. But if you wanted to watch the video again, you could watch it.
Yeah, and
And this is a little.
so happy Cinco de Mayo to everyone. Don't forget that I'm still doing the gaming at 1 p.m. So hopefully all of you guys can join. I'll be playing Stardew Valley again. We're gonna continue building our farm, and our character name is Esme, so she's also in the game. So you guys better come watch us. Um,
And enjoy.
and happy Cinco de Mayo. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 10, and for me at 1 p.m. today here on this one. Not hasta mañana, Jory. You better watch me play the game. So,
We
so
can watch it together, Jory.
So thanks for being here, and we'll see you guys
Tomorrow.
and me at here at 1 for gaming. Thank you and
Bye.
goodbye.